quite benign, and the two projects that you've outlined in your contribution seem very simple and very safe, and something that we shouldn't really be too worried about. But I think, like other members, what I would be concerned about is our continued involvement in the European Defence Agency, and the fact that we seem to be going on a drip, drip, drip road towards the complete integration at a military level within the EU, and the further expansion of the military capabilities of the European Union itself. And I think that we're often on this side of the House derided for saying that that's not going to happen, and that we have our triple lock system here in the States and that as well. But I think very quickly we're going to actually end up in a position where we're going to wake up and we're actually going to be involved in this, and everybody's going to wonder how we actually got there and how did we arrive at this place. And I think it is actually happening. Recently the European Commission outlined its work programme for the next year, and as part of that, under the heading of a stronger global actor, they intend to make Europe, build a Europe that protects but also defends our interests beyond our borders. Now that doesn't seem to have very good implications, and they go on to say then that soft power is not enough in an increasingly conflictual world. Well, the opposite to soft power is hard power, and we saw how that played out and how it works in recent years in terms of the destruction of Libya by the British and the French military primarily, and assisted by the Americans. And is that the kind of thing that we want to, as a state, to become further and deeper involved in? And then yesterday we had the joint council between the foreign affairs ministers and the defence ministers, where they agreed to set up this mini military HQ, as they call it, which the EU Foreign Service says it will be a permanent operational planning and conduct capability, which will command non-executive military missions such as training the Libyan or Iraqi military, but not combat. So we're going to train the Libyan military. I mean, who are they even at this stage, the different militias that exist within Libya? But we're quite happy to go along and participate in that. And Italy's foreign minister, after yesterday, said that the mini HQ was not yet a European general staff, but that was the premise. So that's the road that the European Union is on, and that's the road that they're going down, and we're going to see very quickly over the next year or more, or less even, a ramping up of military involvement and military activity. And Federica Mogherini said yesterday, speaking after the Council, she said that the intention is about the way forward, strengthening the rapid response and reinforcing the usability of the battle groups. She went on to say then that it's 10 years since we've had the battle groups and they were never used, but maybe it is time to make use of the instruments we have. Now, that, in my mind, is very dangerous talk, because that implies that the European Union is itching to actually send out these battle groups to make use of them in a way as an exercise of what can only be described as hard power. And we've seen how the European Union has behaved over recent years as well, not only in the destruction of Libya, but we see how the European Union encouraged and facilitated a coup in Ukraine, which sparked a conflict with Russia in that country, and how the European Union has supported effectively fascist-type government there in Ukraine. And we see also as well how many European member states have bombed Syria illegally under international law, but they've participated quite happily in that. And we see how the French have rolled out bombing there after their disgraceful attacks on their territory, but their response was to go out and bomb innocent Syrian civilians. And that is something that I don't believe that we should be happy to participate in. And while this motion today, the projects seem to be quite simple, but it is a sign of a deepening development within the European Union and the European Defence Agency, and I think it's something that we should be very worried about and we should be opposing tooth and nail.
Thank you, Deputy Pringle.